Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro Max in 2023 and see which specific phone is the better one for you. Now, personally, for me, I think obviously the 12 Pro Max might be the better one for you to buy, but I think the 11 Pro Max has a lot of value and power for how much you're spending on it. So, if you want to pick up either one of these phones, the links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there are some key differences between both. Now, the iPhone 11 Pro Max came out in 2019, and this was supposed to be, I guess, the big main flagship of 2019. And what's crazy is that we've seen some big improvements from iPhone since then, but this was still, I would say, one of the best iPhones Apple's ever made. So it had a very large 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display, and it was a very good-looking panel. Was it perfect? Not really, but the next panel after this, which was on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, wasn't really that big of an upgrade anyway. This was still a very good panel, 60 Hz on both these phones, very high, fairly high resolution on this phone too, but it's still a fairly good panel in my opinion. Now with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you are getting a bigger 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel. So this panel I would probably argue is a better looking panel than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It looks very good, it's slightly bigger, but it doesn't really feel like that bigger of a display, mostly because you do have flat sides on the 11 Pro Max. So because of that, there does seem to look like there's a lot less bezel around it. You can kind of tell, and I would probably agree with that. You are getting a lot less bezel on something like the 12 Pro Max. You are still getting notches on both. There's still Face ID on the front of both these as well. But I definitely would say something like the 11 Pro Max isn't that far off from the 12 Pro Max, but this one definitely looks way better in my opinion. Now on top of that, we want to take a look at the sides of these phones right here. You can probably see that there is a little bit of difference between the sides. Like I mentioned, the 12 Pro Max has the flat sides on it. The 11 Pro Max has that curved side. So it completely depends on what you like. Personally, for me, I think both these phones are pretty good. I don't know if I have like a distinct winner, but I will probably say that I like the curved side, but I like the flat side probably a little bit more. Lightning ports on the bottom. And on the back, I have a very cracked back. Actually, I have cracked backs on both these, if you can kind of see it. The 12 Pro Max has a frosted glass back, so does the 11 Pro Max. In fact, the 11 Pro Max actually originated the frosted glass back. So that was very cool. It originated on the iPhones, maybe not in general, but on the iPhones it did originate it. You can also tell that the camera setups on my 12 Pro Max is very cracked, but it is clearly a pretty big difference between these two. I mean, it's a similar styling, but the 12 Pro Max camera is slightly bigger overall. It also has that LiDAR sensor there, where the 11 Pro Max didn't really have it. You have Apple logos in the center. You do also have this new MagSafe charging capability here, as well as MagSafe accessories that do connect to the back of the 12 Pro Max. You have IP certification on both as well. And definitely when it comes down to both these on the back, they're more similar than not. The sides are the bigger differences, I would say, because you do have that flat side on the 12 Pro Max. But beyond that, I don't really think it's that big of a deal when it comes down to it. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there. Now moving on to basically the software longevity, we should be saying that the 12 Pro Max is probably going to outlast the 11 Pro Max, and that's usually what's going to happen. The higher the number, the longer it's going to last. This one came out in 2020, this one came out in 2019. So, maybe Apple could do a thing where they make these things last the same amount of time. I have no idea. We really don't have any idea as of this point. So it's just another one of those things we're just going to have to wait it out. Personally, for me, I hope the 11 Pro Max lasts forever, but that's not going to happen. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between them. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has that Apple A13 bonding chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 12 Pro Max has that Apple A14 bonding chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. Let's go and hop out of the apps in the background. Let's get into it. Phone calls, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the 11 Pro Max is here, 12 Pro Max is here. Music, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 different pop-ups on both, so we'll just go next out of here. So that one was kind of hard to tell because they are on 2 different pop-ups, so we'll just kind of close out of both these. Let's go hop out of this one. Let's do App Store, 3, 2, 1. 12 Pro Max is the faster one there. Let's go and scroll through here. Let's see if there's a big difference. Man, I don't know if there's going to be a massive difference here. But, you can see they're both taking a long time to load. Let's go and hop out of the top on both these. Let's go and click into here. And I don't know why some of these are clicking and some of them are not. It's kind of weird. Let's go into Mail, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 12 Pro Max, Clock, 3, 2, 1. About the same thing. Camera, 3, 2, 1. Let's go and take a photo, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this one did have that little night mode option. Let's go and open up that photo. Kind of the same thing. Photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, not that big of a difference. What about here? We do have some of these third-party applications we can go and try. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And of course, we have a pop-up that comes up here. It's still faster on the 12 Pro Max though, which isn't surprising. I mean, this is the newer phone. You should expect this phone to be faster. I would say in every single area. There's no reason that the 11 Pro Max should be faster in any area. Clicking play, see if there's any glitches or anything. And I guess it kind of glitched at the same time on both, not that big of a difference. Let's try Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the 12 Pro Max is faster. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 12 Pro Max again is faster. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so far it's been consistent. Nike versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, the 12 Pro Max is faster. Netflix, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the 12 Pro Max is faster. Thank you, 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, the 12 Pro Max is faster. So I think we're seeing a reoccurring trend here. So far, the iPhone 12 Pro Max has been pretty much the faster one every single time, which is expected. You know, when you're getting a phone like this, you should expect the latest phone, the newest phone, to pretty much give you the best experience. And this is pretty much no exception. We are getting the faster phone almost every single time on the iPhone 12 Pro Max and on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So in terms of that, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now, in terms of the actual camera setup on the back, we are also getting a very good camera setups on both of these, which is honestly very surprising. So we're getting triple camera setups on both, ultra wide telephoto lenses. We're getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both of these, which is always a really good thing. And I will definitely say these are really good cameras to have on your type of phone. And there's not really that big of a difference between these two cameras. In fact, you could probably say that Apple kind of put the same exact camera inside of both these phones. So I'm not really surprised about that. So zooming out, you have 0.5x zoom, which is always good. Zooming in, you do have 10x zoom. So that's a really nice thing to have, you know, that much zoom going in. You have video mode, slow mode, time-lapse mode all the way over here. You have photo mode here, portrait mode, panorama mode. There's some really good modes, like I said, to have on your type of phone, whatever you're rocking with. But like I just said, there's really not that big of a difference from an iPhone 11 Pro Max to an iPhone 12 Pro Max camera. You're not really getting, I mean, you're getting like some features like ProRes or whatever, like those kinds of things. I never ever use those types of things, and I don't think the average person will even think about it. So for a phone like the 12 Pro Max, you're really going to be using the features inside of the camera that's inside the camera app here. So you still have 0.5x zoom, you still have 10x zoom as well. It's really cool. So again, you're really not getting, or you're getting 12x zoom here, so you're getting 2x more zoom on something like this one, and then on something like the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I think that's really cool. Other than that, though, you're kind of stuck on the same thing. You don't have like cinematic mode on either one of these. It's pretty much the raw features between both. There's not that big of a difference there either. So that kind of sums up that. And to kind of sum up this whole entire video, what I'll probably tell you is I definitely do think a phone like the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably the better phone. You know, you're getting a better build quality. This is the newer looking one. It definitely looks really nice, you know, don't get me wrong. It is a faster phone than the iPhone 11 Pro Max. You're probably going to be getting better battery life from this phone too, I just feel like, because iOS 16 kind of ruined some things. So I feel like the newer phones are going to be giving you better battery life. But I still think the iPhone 11 Pro Max is a very good phone. This is still a very solid phone to pick up. And if you're in the market, you know, it doesn't hurt to go and buy a phone like this either. It's still supported with software. It still has a great build quality. Still has a great display, pretty decent camera. This is a really good phone for sure. So this one would be the one I would recommend. But if not, then you can always buy the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.